Start recording now on. Cool. Done. Listo. Ready.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, it's just super cool to have this conversation and have you on the podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I've been listening to some of your work and some of the stuff that you're doing, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and to like say like why I wanted to bring you on is we met a few weeks ago at the Speakers Collective Southern Summit, and yeah, like we met at the end and we just got into this really good conversation about you were sharing your work with the way that you go around the world, and you really kind of go into effectively giving a voice to the voiceless.
Yep.
And then we had a conversation a few weeks later because I was really interested in just that sentence you said there, giving a voice to the voiceless. And you then moved into the psychotherapy that you also do as well. And it's like, away from just making films and photography, you also like do psychotherapy as well. So you kind of help people actually do the internal work as well. And it kind of really related to me and my own journey of finding my own voice and really kind of being who I am on the inside, on the outside. And I really want to bring you on to just talk about that, like being your inside self on the outside. And yeah, I guess here we are. So
Just remember a story. A story that my father told me a long time ago, and it was a very interesting story because we don't come across that anymore, because we have digital, we're in the digital era, so we don't use tapes or batteries too much. But he told me a story. One day he was interviewing one of the most prolific painters of Latin America, and he had a tape. He got the recorder, started the interview, and he went 30 minutes one side, 30 minutes the other side, and then the tape finished. Thank you so much for the interview, blah blah. And it stopped. And the man said, "Do you want to have another coffee?" And my father said, yes, I would love to. Okay. So tell me more about it. And then he said that in that moment, when the tape was over, was finished, the interview was done, he didn't have any more tapes. This is when this man started to tell the most amazing stories, the most wonderful, beautiful stories. And one of them was like the reason how he managed, because he was really good at painting, landscapes, but especially the color of the sky. The color of the sky was one of the blues that you will never see in paintings. And he said, tell me one of the first memories that you have. I said, well, when I was a little boy, I was trying to paint the sky on this painting, and I couldn't do it, and it was so difficult that I got really upset, because I needed more clear. It was too dark. And my mother, that was feeding my brother, came close, and I said, you need more white. And she took her breast out and squeezed her milk and put it on the painting, and I mixed it, and it was the most beautiful sky that I ever seen with the help of my mother. And I thought, no, all these stories, they start to come across in an amazing way. But the dilemma was to delete the stuff that he already had and start to record from this point, or write that. It was a very difficult. We don't go through that anymore, but that's one of the challenges as a journalist. That sometimes we have where is the right moment, the editing, what is good, what is bad, what is,
And it's like catching that right there. It's like, and it kind of comes back to that theme of giving a voice to the voiceless, and also like being your inside out, or being your inside on the outside, because it's like it's coming into that whole thing of what are you thinking is acceptable as opposed to just being, like for example, like we've been having a chat over the past couple of weeks, but then also just like today we've been talking for a few hours before this, and it's that whole thing of we've just now decided to record ourselves, but it's that whole thing there as well.
Yeah, we've been sharing stories like that.
Yeah.
Along the way when we were walking. Yeah.
And it's like it's cool because it's like, okay, you can. It's like allowing yourself to just not edit and the whole beauty of this as well is we're just having a conversation, and we haven't scripted this.
No, it's impossible to script memories, and I think it's the moment that you start to script things like this, it becomes to be unnatural, it becomes to be fake. You know, in a way that you gotta read the environment, you gotta read the person that you are with at the moment, and because we both are collections of many stories, many situations, many memories, but which ones are the ones that we have to talk right now? Which ones are the important ones? The other ones might be important too, but which ones are the relevant at the moment? A script can't do that. It's the same format over and over and over. So it's a little bit, like the Bible, a little bit like, you go to church and suddenly that reading that the priest is doing that day doesn't work for you, because you in that specific moment you needed to hear the one of the fisherman because that will change your day. But so it's about that. It's about that. So
and bringing into that as well, because something that brings us close together as well is our passion for storytelling, and we spoke about that earlier as well, around how what is the purpose of a story, and the whole purpose of story is there to help you connect and bring you closer. And I feel like just the stories that we've shared with each other have been relevant to the moment of which we're in. For example, earlier you were sharing about just the metaphor of walking up a hill and having rocks in your backpack, and then taking them out of your backpack as you're going up the mountain. And that's such a beautiful metaphor for life. And it was making me related to that, because yesterday when I came down to the beach, there was these 6-foot waves, and the rip curl was quite a swish rip curl. But it's also if I went in there, I probably wouldn't be having this conversation with you right now, because I'll probably still be in there. So it's that whole thing of I can relate to the whole thing of going up a mountain, taking the rocks out, and similar to watching the waves yesterday, just seeing them smash to the ground. It kind of gives that metaphor of surfing and riding the waves and allowing yourself to let go and move forward, and at the moment I feel like I'm surfing through life, and it feels like in order to surf through life I need to let go of things, and it feels very similar to letting go of rocks from the mountain. This
is based on the experience that I have with some of my patients, that I work with people that struggles with drug addiction, with alcohol. This is some of many, many traumatic situations, war, conflict, refugees, sexual assaults, many things. And one of the things that is very common in many of them is that the stories that they have in the past, the stories that traumatize them, the damage that they did themselves as well, because it's important to recognize that, we're not just blank paper that people write on us whatever they want. We active can do damage as well, and some of that damage that we create in others is also we carry, on ourselves, and it stops us from moving forward. So working with many of my patients, they don't accept what they did, or they don't accept what happened to them, and that suddenly put them in, handbrake. They can move forward. They just looking at the rearview mirror all the time, looking at the past road, seeing what they have, but they don't see the road in front of them. And one of the psychomagic acts that I do sometimes is we go for walks, and we take these rucksacks and fill them up with rocks, and I don't tell them why, just we walk, and when they're really tired, okay, stop. We're gonna take the rocks out, and we're gonna carry on walking. It's so much lighter, and so much better, and they're happier. And then we go back to the line, or they say all those rocks that you have, that you were carrying in that bag, they are memories, past memories and trauma that you've been carrying with you. Just your shoulders are hurting, your back is hurting, but also your soul and your heart. And once you make peace with yourself and you put them behind and you say, okay, now I can move forward because I have a chance to have a second opportunity in this life. My life is not over yet. You know, I can carry on. I can carry on moving forward and meet new people and start a new life. But in order to do that, I need to leave my baggage behind. I need to put it on. I need to accept it. I need to be consequent with the actions that I did. You know, say sorry to the people that I hurt, but also try to change them and show them that I can be a different person. If they don't believe it, that's fine. But for myself, I need to do that and move forward. And it shows that little exercises like that are very, very important. You know, very important, because sometimes the rhetoric is not enough. You know, sometimes it's very nice to listen to certain words, but at the end of the day, when you are alone with your demons, they are more powerful. So actions like that manage to challenge them in a way. Also, we were talking about, like, the more that you share this situation and these traumas, the weaker that they get. You know, and then in order to share in order to listen to other people, their trauma, and bounce back. What did you do in that moment? I did this. Oh, I didn't do that. I messed up. I should have done that. Next time that happened to me, I'm gonna do this. You know, all of that stuff is extremely important.
Yeah, and like something that's coming through me when you were sharing that, cause that was super powerful in so many different ways. Is this whole idea of, yeah, it feels like being in a library. You know, and like you've got, like, someone's been on the beach here, there's all these rocks everywhere, and like in a library, if the books are just all over the floor, it's like you can't navigate anything. But it's allowing yourself to push things into the shelves and organize things in a way where then you can say, like, okay, cool, like there's a big section here, like these are some repeat patterns, you know, like if the inside of your mind of all your different stories, being able to categorize them in a way where you can actually, like, pull them out, and you can see which areas are serving you, what's not serving you, like what topics are of interest, like the type of people you want to be yourself around. So you can really see yourself internally, and that way is when you're in a situation, you can then, like, say, okay, cool, like I behave like this quite regularly, but kind of, or like I'm interested to these topics, and it's a way of compartmentalizing the internals of your mind in order to to navigate your stories and bring out the relevant stories and bring things out as and when they're needed. And I think that kind of really played into what you're saying there, because like having that path forward, and I guess how you go about compartmentalizing and putting things into their place is a whole different thing. And I think that is where the work comes in, and the whole thing of allowing yourself to open up and share, and it comes back to what the first thing we said was, like, that sharing what's actually inside. Because if you're constantly being the shell and being your outside, then you can't actually let the truth out, and all your insides just stay in one clump. But allowing that to breathe and have space, and then you can start to compartmentalize it and put it in places, and it spreads. But until you allow yourself to open up and share what's inside, you're just going to be the shell, and this just keeps building and manifesting itself into something big inside you.
It's totally that. And also like, is the disconnection that we have sometimes with Mother Nature, and we call it La Pachamama. The disconnection that we have with La Pachamama, that is trying to show us examples all the time of life. You know, and that particular example that we're saying, we see it on the trees every year in winter. They get rid of the dead leaves in order to grow new stuff. You know, every year they get rid of them because they know the spring, so a better time is coming for them to flourish again. Why cannot we do that? Why have to keep all the leaves and put them in our house? The snake have to shred the skin, you know, every season, in order to survive, in order to be better, to be stronger, to grow longer, more powerful. The butterfly have to leave the shell, like how do you call it?
So it's a chameleon. That's not. Is that what you're saying?
The butterfly.
The butterfly. Yeah. So the caterpillar goes into the cocoon.
Yeah.
And then
The
comes out the
cocoon.
cocoon.
The cocoon.
Yeah, the cocoon. Yeah. Then
You know,
in the
to
cocoon,
grow
you
the wings and be beautiful and live
Yeah.
whatever hours, 3, 4, 10 hours more of life. But like
Yeah.
that's those 10 hours that is gonna live that butterfly gonna be the best hours of life. You know?
Yeah.
Why cannot we do the same?
So true.
It's a principle. Nature is always showing us. We're just too blind to see it.
Like because there's a whole thing of like allowing yourself to then be your true essence, and I think it's what you said there about giving voice to the voiceless, and I think that's a really important like theme to link to being your inside outside, because it's like giving a voice to your voiceless. It's like it's easy to just like the ones who have the voice, like to just be attracted to them and just like follow what they have to say.
Yeah.
But then in order to give voice to yourself, that takes like courage. You know?
Extremely, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess what stops people from doing that? I'd love to hear your perspective on.
I think we are raised in a society where, speak about our inner thoughts or inner emotions are a sin. It's a sin to do that. We're trying to, as a society, we're trying to have this equilibrium, this balance, where actually it feels like we are all hypnotized and we're all sleepwalking. And anyone that perturbs that silence and that sleep, it could be a threat, it could be a danger. For example, anyone that says, you know what, I've been very depressed. I feel like killing myself, suicide, and I feel like this. And that person that is listening to that, does have those thoughts and emotions as well. The fact that they can hear someone saying that, we call them now trigger. It can trigger me to do that. And I will probably feel affiliated with them. What about, instead of changing to a trigger to do that, but trigger to take an action and to say, I feel like that sometimes as well. Why are you feeling like this? Because of this happened to me, that happened to me. How did you sort it out? I moved forward like this, but it was very painful. Yes, this is what I'm going through. Oh my God, now I have a network of people that went through the same emotions and are going through the same thing. And we can go together because we are not alone. One will die, but as a community, we don't. We survive, But we don't say that. We don't share that because we don't want to feel weak. We don't want to look weak to other ones. We're in a society that dog eats dog. If you feel any weakness, you're done. We don't want to share these emotions. This is scary to do it. A society that is very unempathetic, and that's hard. We see it right now, for example, with what's happening in Palestine. We see it every single day. A lot of people is protesting about it. A lot of people is commenting and putting stuff on the social media. But it's not enough. It's not enough. But it's a genocide happening. Children dying every single day. Covering the most graphic, horrific images that we see every day. And we still living like nothing is happening over there. Where is our empathy? We're humans too. We have children too. I find it interesting. I find it incredible that for first time we're a generation that we can speak to everyone around the world at any time, at any point, with the tip of our fingers. We can share, we can organize, we can move communities, we can create projects, programs. But we decide to share our breakfast because it's more important. That's incredible to me, That's incredible that not too many people is sharing these images and moving and acting on it. So, what is happening? Never before we have this, and other generations were more active, in different issues than what we are right now.
And something really cool is coming through when you shared there. It's like really, coming in, and it links to the stories, like what you do as a photographer, filmmaker, and then what I also do as well, like in terms of creating portraits and future portraits for people. This whole thing of really capturing a moment and really kind of being in that moment. So you mentioned a few things there, like having a thought of wanting to commit suicide and actually doing that's a story in itself. Like kind of having a thought to actually committing, or not committing, wrong word, but like just actually doing the act is two different points on that story. And it's like encouraging people as soon as a thought emerges to be able to open and share that. And then it's its most rawest but like also smallest piece, essence, smallest moment. And then sharing that moment with someone, it's like, well, that could actually grow out to be a beautiful thing. Like wanting to like kill yourself, like is actually like maybe underneath that is this whole thing of like, this shell that I've been carrying doesn't work anymore, and I want to break out of it. And then it becomes like oh cool, this person's feeling empowered, and then it becomes like a really fascinating thing. And then it's like inspiring people to be like, oh yeah, maybe this way I've been living for the past 10 years doesn't serve me either, or this person's now opening up about my whole life I've been doing this. I want to kill myself, but not kill myself, just want to let go of this thing I've been holding on my entire life to then be this new version of myself. And then it becomes an empowering story, and it's like, I wish I just shared the thing in the first place, you know. I think it's that, isn't it? It's like encouraging people to not share what they think people want to see. It's actually sharing just what's actually going on, but at its most smallest like essence, you know what I mean, smallest moment.
Then you come out with something very interesting, that like don't kill yourself, kill the version of yourself that is letting you down, that is bringing you down. That's the one that you gotta kill, you know, to move forward. That's the one that you have to help to commit that, and like, go on, move on. You know, it's not ourselves itself, because we have so many colors, so many shades. You know, and once you manage to combine rationality with emotion, you know, you're pretty much well off, you know, the rest of your life. You know, like, there are moments that you have to be emotional, there are moments that you have to be rational about things. Once the combination level up, empathy will flourish, you know, responsibility will flourish, and you will be pretty much well off. But like, it's about that. It's about destroying that part that is dragging you and not letting you move forward. That shadow and
that's exactly it. That's it, man.
I think that's the main thing is that, and it's very, very powerful. It's very important, because especially nowadays, you know, when another thing that, for example, for me is like, it's very interesting right now, is how much we are focusing on language. Don't say certain things. Don't use certain vocabulary, because it might be triggered. You know, but we're really tougher than that. Humans, we are tough. We've been surviving for hundreds of years. Yes, is making society a better place? I don't know. For example, the other day I was listening to some podcasts of the ethical language of photography. Been a photographer all my life. I come from a family of photographers. It's a whole philosophy behind it that is very important. I managed to help communities using filmmaking and photography. And the other day, listening to this podcast, they were discussing why we have to change the vocabulary of photography, because it's aggressive and it's colonialism. So, for example, the word trigger. You know, the word shoot. I shoot. I'm gonna go for a shoot, or I took an amazing shot. You know, that's so violent. You know, or I capture this image. Capturing. You know, you're taking away something from somebody else, and it was this huge amount of debate about it, and how we have to let go and change it and use new words for the. And it's so ridiculous. For me, it's so ridiculous, because this is a word that is implemented there. It's important. It works. Let's keep using it. And especially because, for example, for me, this word, when I was in the Congo, I was working with child soldiers, and I was giving them workshops of photography, teaching them how to take a photograph. Some of these kids couldn't understand the dynamics of how the camera works. They didn't feel that it was related to them, that it was important. They didn't see the magic. And then I have to go back and think, how can I reach these kids? How can I open them like interest for them to start taking photographs? And I came back next day, took my camera apart, lens, body, battery, memory card. Okay, this is my weapon. This is my scope. This is the body of my gun. This is my magazine, memory card. This is my strap. This is the aiming, focusing, shooting, trigger, ta 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 ta. Oh, where is my one? Where is my camera? I want to do. And then suddenly all of them took photography because I used a language they already knew. A language that was embedded on them by the militias and make them shoot and carry weapons and everything like that. I changed the weapon. It's not a weapon of destruction, it's a weapon of creation, but it's still a weapon. Because it's so powerful that if you take the right photograph at the right time, you're president of any country coming out of a whorehouse or taking drugs or whatever, you can change the dynamics of that country. You can change the history of a way. It's a weapon. It's a weapon of truth. It's a weapon that you freeze 1 millisecond of time forever. It's a time machine also. It's the most powerful thing. And once you have it in the hands of the voiceless, of the people that never have a chance to tell their story, to communicate, to show how hard their life is, you give them that, and you give them the option to open social media and tell their story with captions and with images. It changes something here.
So that was beautiful, the way that you shared that. And the thing that was coming through me was this whole thing of being free, and this whole thing of when you shoot a photo, or when you say what you've got to say, it's like the inside of you, the creative energy inside of you is found a way out. So the feeling inside has then been captured, and it's like a release. So it's like freedom, and it's like the same as when you're shooting something. It's you're releasing, and it's an out. You let yourself out, and you're kind of escaping or kind of getting out, and it's that in it's like you freed yourself. And it's like the more you kind of practice freeing yourself, the more you be free and embody freedom, because you then got the feeling of, I just captured this photo for the first time and it just feels amazing. And then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and it's like all of a sudden you just capture it, and then you kind of releasing, and the creative energy is actually being allowed out of you, as opposed to the reverse where you're thinking like, I'm not allowed, I'm not creative, I can't do that, and it just like stays inside. But you're allowing yourself to push out, and it's that whole thing of like enjoying the steps in the process. And it's like it's I don't know, like another way of saying shoot is like playing football. Shoot, you score. You know, and it's a feeling of scoring.
It's too violent football now. You kick the ball. Oh my god.
Do you know what I mean? I can't get away from it, because it's kind of like that primal instinct you need to get it.
It's natural. We're here, it's part of ourselves.
But then hitting that point down, it's that whole thing of you're allowing yourself to finish the cycle. You had a thought, you allowed yourself to release it, and then you're celebrating it on the other side, and then you go again, and go again. But it's that whole thing of allowing that inside of you to come out, and then it's like, I did it. But it's like breaking it down into those steps is how you relate to someone as well, because like a photographer isn't as A to B of like, I take camera, take picture. There's every single step on that journey, and then that's the story aspect too. That's how you relate to someone. For example, like the way that you set up a camera, that's a point of connection. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like there's 100 different photographers set up their camera in 100 different ways, but it's a relation point. And then the same as like, what camera do you use? Like, then that's another relation point. And that's why it's super important to have the breakdown into its granular level, and then those people in that workshop, you guiding them through that process together, and then each of them, they're really kind of like in the story of the process.
Yeah.
And you kind of actually like engaged within the story, and it's like the end point of actually taking a photo is actually just like 1% of it. It's like all the steps you've taken them on that journey. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now it becomes a lifestyle. Yeah. Because I can see how this can become a lifestyle. Yeah. And then you've got like these moments of interaction along that way as well. So, for example, like, then you can teach people how to set up a camera. You can then also like get really excited about how to set up a camera, and kind of just allowing yourself to just take all that space up. But then I think the point is how you started that point is around language, and what you said about language around just the words that you use. I think, that also comes into that whole thing of it's difficult to always say the right word because you feel that it's going to affect someone in a different way. But I think it's also like, that is, I guess, how do I feel about that? I feel like it's difficult to for someone else to receive a word in that way. It's almost like a reflection on them as well. Yeah. Like if someone's if you're saying, if you're passionately talking about expressing yourself, and you're expressing yourself, I shot this amazing film, and then someone sat on the other side of that being like, you said shot. Like that's actually like,
I captured this image.
Yeah. It's like it's a reflection on them, and it kind of like it goes back to be like what are they not doing in their life? You know, because you're kind of coming with passion, and joy, and it's like actually what's going on for them.
But also for me, that's so true. It shows that, and it shows the level of comfort that people have sometimes. You know, like the level of that allows you to expend your time thinking about stuff like that, while there's so many other things that people don't have the chance to think of, because they have the day-by-day work of survival, go to work, be in the traffic jam, blah 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 blah, living by $1 a day, you know, surviving. They don't have the time to lay down and think. I was wondering, you know, I find this war a little bit aggressive, you know, like I don't know. You can, you know. So it shows you that level of comfortability as well. And it's like, okay, we're fighting this war because these wars are part of the colonialism. But what are you doing right now? The action of sitting down and relax, just to meditate and debate about these things, it's the same action. You know, it's so interesting that
you can use that time to actually do the thing.
Yeah, all the philosophers from Greece, or ancient Greece, they were pretty well off. They were rich people that they can sit down and think of, you know, many different ways of life and philosophize. I have a problem. But what is a problem? Well, the other one really had a problem because if he didn't carry those rocks, he will get whipped in there. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know? It's so interesting.
Yeah. So man, coming into like a close.
Yeah.
Because this is like the record length for a podcast episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Like yes, it's happened with you. Like,
cool.
And I really enjoyed our conversation today because we met, like, connected on storytelling, and we came today and just allowed ourselves to just have a conversation and see where it takes us. Yeah. And the loose premise was around being you inside, outside, and finding voice, giving voice to the voiceless, and just how storytelling feels within that. Yeah. And it kind of plays into that theme we was mentioned there around allowing yourself to express, just capturing the truth. Yeah. You know, like, and I think that's why feeling really proud that we did this, because this conversation is going to go out like it was recorded. Yeah, and exactly, clear. Yeah. And it times with our coffees being finished as well. Yeah, the boilers thing is very interesting because part of the boilers was
about, for example, like another language, another word that is completely negative in photography. Like I guess they call it negative, the dark room. I'm going to the dark room to develop the photographs. The dark room is a place that, just you with a red light, and symbolize, the process that you're gonna do with the film, and then develop these photographs. My father was a photojournalist, and when he used to come home, he used to come like with the journalist shirt and bandanas and covered in mud, and the camera's all bashed up, and he's been in these places that I couldn't imagine as a child. How are they, in the jungle, and it was like Indiana Jones or something out of, out of a film. And then he said to me all the time, let's go to the dark room, and he close the door, put the red light, and then we start developing this film. And then the paper, and all this used to say, let us cook some people. Cooking, people, that's horrible. And you put the paper, and then suddenly all these images, these faces, these situations start to appear. Some of them extremely violent, some of them beautiful, some of them hard. Didn't matter how violent the situation was or how horrible, there was a composition that make that image appealing to look at. It was very interesting how my father managed to frame this. He is a really good photographer. And in all those images, there was a lot of poor people from villages, native Indians, with extremely poor conditions, escaping violence, affected by our violence in a horrible way. But when my father pointed the camera at them, they all have the same reaction. And he was looking into the camera and smiling. With all the pain that they've been carrying in their blood and in their heart, and they still sort out their hair, stand straight and smile. Because that's how they want to be remembered. And as a child, I always thought, why? Why they're smiling? Why they're not portraying who they really are? Well, when you grow up, you will understand that. And after all the work that I've done in different communities, in refugee camps, I realized that it's only one trait that takes us, all of human beings, and make us do that very action, and it's dignity. And dignity is the energy that allows us to keep going. Not like animals. This is the distinction, It's us. Dignity. Doesn't matter what I'm going through. I have the dignity to look at the camera, to smile, because I know that tomorrow I have the chance to have a better life, to move forward. Something that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow is a surprise. The past is gone, the future is unknown, and the present, the gift, is here for us. This conversation will never repeat. This moment that we have right now, we might come back here tomorrow and have another conversation. It's going to be another conversation. You're going to be in a different set of mind. I might be in a different set of mind. This moment is the gift, is the present that we have. And if once we're present, we're present in our life, and we realize that we have to be present for each other, it changes. Everything changes.
And I want to kind of just bring this into a point, because it's like this will now go into the dark room to produce it, to then release it.
Yeah.
But we've captured this. It's a time capsule we've just captured.
Yeah.
And this in itself feels like a photograph.
Yeah.
But we're actually talking in the photograph.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a postcard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like talking postcard.
We should do a photograph afterwards to put on the thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank you so much.
It's been so
Thank you
sick.
so much.
Really, really good to spend time with you, get to know more about your photography journey, and I feel like
let's do some projects together.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It'll be really good.
Awesome. All
Cool.
right. Peace out.